everybody. Welcome to Rusty's Sudoku stream. Get 3 puzzles today. Puzzle number 492, 493, and 498. Normally I just do 2 puzzles today, but actually normally I just do a puzzle today. But I got this one loaded up yesterday, and I had 2 of these loaded up for yesterday and didn't do them because I did last week's instead. All right, see if I can figure this out. All right, well, I got a 9 here, 4, 5, 3, and 7 in the column, 1 and 9, 7, oop, that's an 8, this is a 7, and nothing else in those 3 squares. We get a 6 here, 8, 3, 1, 4, 5 here, 8 here, 3 and 5 down here. And we get a symmetry of sorts here. And move my pointer to the middle. These puzzles are all medium puzzles. There you go. You can see if you can solve these or grab a screenshot, see if you can solve them on your own, and we'll see how this all goes. Meaning that I kind of expect they're going to take some time to solve, but we'll get them, I think. Those 2 are possibly 9s. We get a 2 in one of these 3, 4, 5, 6, and one of these is going to be a 7, but it's not going to be that. So that means this is a 2. All right, over here we get a 7 as well. One of these 2 is going to be a 1. One of these 2 is going to be a 1. Symmetry is playing out very nicely, I guess. One of these 2 is going to be a 7. Oh, not a 9, 7. Here I've got all manner of possibilities for 7, total 5. All right, how about down here? Well, we've got a 7 and a 7. So this 7 and this 7 mean one of these 3 is going to be a 7. There's 3 of them there, so we'll hold off on that. All right, how about 2s? Well, we already know none of these can be a 2. One of these 4 is going to be a 2. Actually, 1 here. So now I've got 3 possibilities for a 2 in here. 1 here and 1 here. That means what I thought was a 1 up here is not. This is going to be a 1 that goes there, and this one fills out or finishes out the 1s. All right, that did not help as much as I would like for 2s. I've still got 4 possibilities for a 2 here. 4 possibilities for a 2 here. 4 possibilities here. Not as many here, but no, 4 possibilities as well. And 4 possibilities here. All 3 of these are possibly 2s. So 3s, one of these 2 is going to be a 3. I've got all manner of them up here, 6 possibilities. 3 possibilities here. 3 possibilities here. 3 possibilities here. 5 possibilities here. All right, how about 4s? We got a 4 here. 4 here. That means I've got 4 possibilities for a 4 here. 3 possibilities for a 4 here because I've got this 4 over here. I take it back. I've got 2 possibilities for a 4, so those I can mark. How about down here? Well, I've got 4 possibilities for a 4 here, and 4 possibilities here. This one cannot be a 4, so I've got 5 possibilities in this square. And that looks like about all I can do at this point, so how about 5s? Got a 5 here, another 5 here, so one of these 3 is going to be a 5. This says it can't be this one, so now I've got 2 possibilities for a 5 here. Also happen to have 2 possibilities for a 5 here. Because again, this one can't be 1. That means it has to be in this column, and this one blocks out this square. So one of these 2 is going to be a 5. Over here, one of these 2 is going to be a 5 because this one's blocked out there. That means one of these 3 is going to be 5, and that's actually down to these 2. All right, 6s. Get a 6 here. Another 6 here. So that means I've got 4 possibilities for a 6 here, 2 possibilities here. How about down here? Looks like I've got 5 possibilities for a 6 there, 5 possibilities for a 6 there, 4 possibilities for a 6 here, 2 possibilities for a 6 here. That narrows this down to 2 possibilities. All right, 7s. Got these 2 already marked. I've got these 2 already marked because this can't be a 7 because of this. I've got 3 possibilities here. However, this one says this can't be a 7. One has to be in the column, so that's a 7. It makes this one into a 9, I believe. Yep, 9 it is. Which affects a few other things. One of these 2 now becomes a 9. One of these 2 becomes a 9. And this one can't be a 9, so that's a 9 here. And this one couldn't be a 9 because of this 9 here. So we now got 9s all the way up in this column. I've got 3 possibilities for a 9 here. 4 possibilities for a 9 in this square. And that looks like it for 9s at the moment. However, nope, let's see. Did I get the 8s marked? One of these 3 is going to be an 8. I've got 4 possibilities here. 8 here. One of these 2 is going to be an 8. I've got 4 possibilities for an 8 here. And 4 possibilities for an 8 here, it looks like. So it looks like everything's been populated at one point, but let's see if we can tidy things up a little bit. At all. Okay. Pair of possible 7s here, 4 possibles here. 7s are taken care of here. Hey, this can't be a 5, so that's a 5. 1, 2, 3. So we've got 4 is going to be one of these 3. A 5 is already here. How about 6s? One of these 3 will be a 6. 7. This can't be an 8, so one of these 2 will be an 8. All right, that doesn't help me much. All right, we got 1, what, 2s. 3 possibilities on a 2. 2 possibilities on a 3 to go with these 6s. So that makes this one into a 2. All right. That means over here I've now got 3 places for a 2 instead of 4. Okay. Over here I've got 3 places for a 2. Let's see. 1, 2. 3 3s. 5 4s, 2 5s, 2 6s, a 7, 2 8s, and a 9. Okay. How about down here? We'll get a 1, 3 places for a 2, a 3, 3 places for a 4, a 5, and 4 places for a 6, 3 places for an 8, and that takes care of everything. End up with a 6 and 8 possibly here in the bottom left cell, but that doesn't narrow things down enough for here. How about here? We got a 1 and a 2 and a couple of places for a 3. 4 is going to be in any one of these 5 spots. A 5 is here. 6 is going to be one of these 4 spots. We got a 7. 8 goes into one of these 4 spots as well, and 9 into one of these 4 spots. And this spot doubles up as possibly being a 4. Okay. 1, 4 places for 2, perhaps. Yep. 3s. That can't be a 3, but all 6 of the others are potentially eligible for 3. 4s. I've got 3 possibilities for a 4 here. 2 possibilities for a 5. 2 possibilities for a 6. A 7 is a given here. And 4 possibilities for an 8. And looks like 6 possibilities, or 3 possibilities for a 9. All right. Do we get anything more here? 1. That can't be a 2, so it's going to be one of these 3. How about a 3? That could be a 3, along with all the others here. 4, 5s, 6, 7s, 8, 9s. So this can't be a 2. It can be a 3. So that gives me a 3. Additional 3 on the board. Okay, one of these 2 is now going to be a 3. Not that one though. So that's a 3. That's a 3. One of these 2 is going to be a 3. One of these 2 will be a 3 to go with these 2. And down here, I've got a 3 already. All right. I am going to do the flood fill thing now. 1. 1s are fully populated. So 2s, we've got 3 possibilities there. 4 possibilities here. 3 possibilities here. 4 nope, not 2s there or there. So 2 possibilities here. Oop. 4 possibilities here. All right. Those 3 are possibly a 2, and these 3 are possibly 2s. Okay, 3s. Looks like, oh, this one, I've got some possible 3s to drop in. 3 of them. Otherwise, looks like 3s are all distributed already. 4s. So one of, nope, not there. One of these 3 is a 4. One of these 4 is a 4. I've got 3 possible 4s there. 3 possible 4s here. And all of the open ones here could be a 4. And that takes care of, nope, doesn't quite take care of 4s. I've got, okay, these 2 can't be a 4. So I've got those 2 as possible 4s. I think this also becomes a possible 4. Nope, block down here. All right. 5s. We got the 2 5s there. These can't be 5. One of these 2 is a 5. I've got one of these 2 to be a 5. 5 here. Looks like 5s are fully set. How about 6s? So I've got 4 possibilities for a 6 here. And it looks like 5 possibilities down here. 4 or 3 possibilities here. This can't be a 6. The top is taken care of. So we're looking at 6s here. Yep, that can't be a 6. That means it's going to be an 8, and this will be a 6. All right. One of these 3 is going to be an 8. I suppose we should look at 7s. Now we've got a pair of 7s there. Pair of, well, 4 possibilities for 7 there. And that takes care of 7s because I've already got the 2 earmarked there. Now we can look at the 8s. Taken care of in the middle row. One of these 2 will be an 8. One of these 2 will be an 8. That will not be an 8, but one of these 2 will be. All right, how about 9s? Get a 9 there, 9 there. One of these 2 is going to be a 9, so one of these 3 will be a 9. 9 here and here means one of these 2 will be a 9. 9 here and here means that one of these 3 are going to be a 9. And we end up with 3 possibilities for a 9 here as well. All right, let's check this standalone 8 here. Oh, yep. So we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here. A 6. These 2 are 7s and 9s. So yes, that's an 8. That makes this into a 9 and this into a 6. All right. 2, 3, 9, 2, 9, 2, 3. 7, 4, 7, 4, 7, 5. That becomes a 5. This becomes a 2 as a result of that. 9 and 7 here. 6, 3, 6, 3. 5, 6 becomes a 5. 6, 2, 6, 2 becomes a, or with the 6, 2, 3, that becomes a 3. This becomes a 6, 3, 6, 2 there. 4, oh, I've now got a hole down here. So I got something wrong already. Was there anything else that could be here? There should be something else that could be here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 5. So pair possibilities for 6. This could have been a 6. Could be a 6. No, it can't be a 6. There's a 6 there, that's why. 7. How about an 8? Nope, can't be an 8 because I've got an 8 there. So however, all 3 of these have the possibility of being an 8. So now I can put a 4 here, 7, 4. I don't have a hole down here. I've got an 8, but I've got a hole coming up there, don't I? Let's see if we can figure out what that's supposed to be. That looks like it should be an 8. I didn't get an 8 in that block either, huh? 2 and 4 here. 7 and 9 here. 4 here, 9 here, 5. 2, 3 pair. We're going to disambiguate that here in just a moment. There's going to be a 6 here, 4 here, 3 here. That makes this into a 2. This becomes a 3. Get a 2 and a 5, and that solves the puzzle. 20 minutes, 14 seconds. And we can move on to 493. Going to hit the play again. And let's start filling this in. 7, 3, 5 here, 4, 8, 7 here, 2, 6, 7 here, 8, 4, 6 there, 9, 6, 3. For those wondering, this would normally be the only puzzle I would solve on a Wednesday if I were following the schedule that I try to, well, I say that I use. Obviously, I'm not using it the way I'd like to. All right, let's see if this is solvable. It says it is. Give you a few moments to grab a screenshot, see if you can solve this yourself. And do remember, I do have a chat window up. I do even see it sometimes. It's kind of hidden behind some screens here. All right, that's 20 seconds. I'm going to start filling things in here. One of these 2 is going to be an 8. Now, let's clear that. One of these 2 is going to be an 8. We got one of these 2 is going to be a 3. How about 2s? Do I have any useful info? One of these 2 is going to be a 2. And that means that one of these 2 is going to end up being a 4. Because neither of these can be the 4. All right. 4 in the center there. We got 2 possibilities for a 3 here. Center is blocked. This one is blocked. I've got three possibilities for 3 here. However, I do get a 1. And up here we get 2 possibilities for 1. How about down here? Oops. That's not going to work out quite right. One of these two is a 1. For some reason, I had visualized this being a 1, and it's not. I've got 3 possibilities for a 1 here, 4 possibilities up here, 2 possibilities for a 1 here. Like I said, 3 here, 4 here. And that ends up with 6 possibilities for 1 here. So let's go on to 2s. We know that one of these 2 is going to be a 2. This is a 2. So in here, we end up with this being the only place I can drop a 2. That means one of these 3 is going to be a 2, but I don't have enough disambiguation there. One of these 4 is going to be a 2. This one cannot be a 2, but I've got 3 possibilities here. Down here, I've got a 2 in the row here. One of these 4 is going to be a 2. One of these 3 is going to be a 2. And any of these could be a 2. So now we've got a 3 here. 3 here. That means one of these 2 is going to be a 3. No, it's not. Got a 3 there. All right. So 3 possibilities for a 3 here. 2 possibilities up here. 3 possibilities here, except that these 2 3s say this can't be a 3, so I've got 2 possibilities for a 3 here. And that's all I can do with 3s at the moment. 4s. We already noted that one of these 2 is going to be a 4. Got a 4 down here and a 4 up here. Got a 4 over here, which means over here is going to be either one of these 2 or one of these 2. That's 4 possibilities, so not going to work with that. I've got 4 possibilities for 4 up here, and another 3 possibilities here. Over here, I've got 2 possibilities for 4, and I've got 3 possibilities here. So now we move on to 5s. 5 there. One of these 2 is going to be a 5. I've got 3 possibilities here for now. Here I've got 3 possibilities as well. Over here it looks like I've got 4 possibilities. 3 possibilities here. 5 possibilities here. So moving on to 6s. Got a 6 here. One of these 2 is going to be a 6. I've got 4 possibilities here. 2 possibilities here, dictated by this 6 and this 6. This 6, we got a 6 down here. That's going to do some guidance. This cannot be a 6, so one of these 2 is a 6. That means down here, one of these 3 is going to be a 6. And that's literally all I can say at this point. So let's move on to 7s. 7 here and here with a 7 here means the middle column is taken care of. I've got 3 possibilities of a 7 there, 2 down here, 3 possibilities here, 2 possibilities here, my mistake. I've got 2 possibilities here and 2 possibilities here, because This 7 says this can't be a 7. That means this is not going to be a 7. This is going to be a 7. This will be a 4. That affects what can be a 4 up here. I've now got a single place I can have a 4 here. Two possible places for a 4 here. We've got these two marked because of the 4 here and here. This is going to become a 4. That affects these up here. Well, they were already blocked out. So really the only thing it affects is these here. And that gives me a 4 possibility there, as well as a possibility for a 4 there. All right, how about 5s? We've got the 2 possibilities for a 5 here. Given 5 here, I've got 3 possibilities for 5 here. 4 possibilities for 5 here. 3 possibilities for a 5 there. And 3 possibilities here. 3 possibilities here. So I think we're done with 5s at the moment. 6s. We got a 6 here. A couple of possibilities up here. One of these two is going to be a 6, meaning that a 6 is going to be one of these 3. We've got a 6 here and here. All right, I believe I've got everything I can mark for 6s marked. So we move on to 7s. I think we were working on earlier. One of these two is going to be a 7. And we've got these two already marked as well. All right, 8s. Got an 8 here. One of these two will be an 8, so one of these two is going to be an 8. I've got 4 possibilities here. 5 possibilities here. 4 possibilities here. 4 possibilities here. 2 possibilities for an 8 here. These two are blocked here. These two are blocked here. All right. Looks like I go on to 9s. We've got a 9 here. And that is the only 9. Nope, not the only 9. We've got a 9 here as well. That combination and what else I see here says one of these two is going to be a 9. And 4 possibilities for a 9 here. 3 possibilities for a 9 here. And we get a 9 here. That means I've now got 2 possibilities up here for a 9. 4 possibilities here. Not a lot of guidance here at the moment. 4 possibilities there. And 3 here. All right, on to doing my blood fill process. We got, okay, 2 possible ones there. 4 possible ones here. We get all of the possibilities here. Down here, we've got the 2 possibilities for 1. 3 possibilities for 1 here. Otherwise, this column, or this row, is filled out for 1s. And that means I've got 3 possible 1s here. How about 2s? We got a 2 here. Two here. These two are marked. We got 4 possible 2s up here. Down here, we've got all 5 of these possibilities. There could be a 2. 3 possible 2s here. Over here, we've got 5 possible 2s. No, we don't. We've got 3 possible 2s. Because of that 2's there. And we end up with 3 possible 2's here as well. Let me take a quick look here at this row. We've got a couple possibilities for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a 9. So one of these 2 is going to be an 8. Unfortunately, that's about all the narrowing down we've got with that, as all of these could potentially be an 8, as well as all of these. Over here, everything could potentially be an 8. Here we've got just these 2 are going to be 8, possibly 8s. One of these 2 is going to be an 8, 8 here. We got those 2. So just marking up the last of the 8s on the board here. Let's do a quick check here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One of these 2 is going to be 8, so this is a 9. What do we got here? Because I should have marked something by now. 1s, 2. So we've got 3's can go in here. Fours. How about 5's? Where do we put 5's here? So I could put a 5 there, there, or there. Got a 6 here already. One of these 2 is going to be a 7. We got an 8. And it looks like this is the only place I can drop a 9. One of these 2 is going to be a 9. Can't be a 7 here. It's going to be one of these 2 for a 7. 1, 8, 3, 5, 3, 1, 3, 1, 8. Not really helpful there. This can no longer be a 9, so what have we got? Let's check it. We get a 2 in the square, 3 in the row, 4 in the column. Potentially we could have a 5 here. I'm going to tag it as a possibility. 6, 7, 8, and 9. Other places that could be a 5 include not that, both of these. Here we've got a bunch of possibilities for 5 as well. So, did that narrow things? Did it help at all? Not so much. Supposedly this might be an 8, but I think I'm missing something. So we got a 1 here, 2 here, 3, 4, 5. And I do not see any 6's here, and I know one of these 3 has to be a 6. 7's go in here. Got a 7 there. Got the 8 that we potentially earmarked. We'll see if that's an 8. And then how about 9's? Oh, one of these 2 is going to be a 9. Now if we come here, I'm missing 9's as well, I see. I know that This says neither of these can be a 9, but nothing's blocking 9s in these 4 places. So we got a 1, pair of 1s, 2 2s, a 3, pair of possible 4s, a 5, and 4 possible 6s that didn't get earmarked, a 7, 4 possible 8s, and 4 possible 9s. All right. One 8 1 3 5 3 1 8 3. This is the only 5 in the row or in the column. So that becomes a 5. This becomes a 6, a 4 here, 2 and 3, 8 and 4 here. And it looks like we've got a 3 here is the only possibility there. That means a 7 and a 1 here. 5 9 5 9 pairs there. 1 8 1 8 pairs there. 1 8 1 5 or 1 8 3 1 5. So I got the 5 9 there. That makes this into a 1. 8 3. This becomes an 8 and a 3 here. Down here we end up with a 1, and we're missing a digit here. Something a bit of a miss. So in the column we've got 1s. I'll remark the 2s as possibles here. About 3s. Yes, I got a 3, a 4. One of these should be a 5. Can't be that one, so let's mark these 2 as possibly being a 5. All right, and we've got 3 possible 5s here, but here we end up with a 2. It can't be an 8, so that's a 2, and this becomes an 8. Now we've got 5 2 pairs down here. Does that help anywhere else? Oh, hey, we got a standalone 2 here. To go with the standalone 6, and that will leave a 3 here. So let's go with that. 2, 6, and 3. We got a 1 9, 6 9, 1. And let me do a quick check on this one. We've got the possibility of 1. I see a 2, 3, 4, 5 already in the row. 6 and 7 in the column or square. 8 in the row, 9 in the column, so 1 it is. That turns this into a 9. Get a 1 5 1 5, so this is a 6. Since I've got 1 5 1 5 there, this becomes a 5 and a 9 here. This becomes a 6, a 2, an 8, a 4, and a 9 here. We got a hole here now, so let's check that. In the row, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be logical, but I've got a 5 here, so it can't be a 5. And this thinks it's going to be a 5. So let's mark that as a 5, and we'll try other things. This could potentially be an 8, but no, it's going to be a 7. This should be an 8, but I've got an 8 blocking it up here. This looks like it's going to be an 8, except that I've got 8 2 pair here, 7 here. We're going to have to back out some stuff here, it looks like. I am going to try this again from the top, reset, and we're going to just flood fill from the beginning. We've got one of these two is a 1. one of these two, one of these two, and over here, all four of the, six of these can be ones. Got two possibilities for a one here, four possibilities for a one here, three possibilities for a one here. That's it for ones. We got a two here, means one of these two is going to be a two, and that gives me two possibilities here. Up here, we end up with five possibilities for a two for the moment. Nope, three possibilities for a two. And we get four possibilities for a two here. Down here, we now have four possibilities for a two. We've got a bunch of possibilities for a two here. Pretty much everything's open. And kind of the same thing here. We've got all of these are potentially a two, as are pretty much all of these. No, these cannot be a two. That means this is not a two. My mouse is hovering over a two. That's why I mistook that. This becomes a two. This is not a two. So one of these three become a two. All right. Threes. We've got a three here that's blocking these. So one of these two will be a three. One of these two will be a three. I've got three possibilities here. Three possibilities here. Three there already, and here takes care of those. Three here and here takes care of this row. And those two possibilities with these two become our threes in this row. So it looks like we're done with threes for now. We've got three possible fours here. This four doesn't help us, but this four says these two can't be a four. One of these two has to be a four. All right. Over here, we've got four possibilities for a four. Okay, this can't be a three. And that's because this is a three down here. We just have those two for threes. Here we've got a few possibilities for four. We've got four marked already here. None of these three can be a four, but all three of these can be a four. And we've got two possibilities for a four here. All right, fives. It looks like I've got three possibilities for a five there. Two possibilities for a five here. Five here says that one of these three is going to be a five. We get the same type of a situation here. Over here, however, we've got five possibilities. And here we've got four possibilities. These are already marked, so we move on to sixes. One of these two will be a six. There's a six here, so one of these two is going to be a six. That means the six is, this square is going to be one of those three. We've got four possibilities for a six here, and two possibilities for a six here. Is that right? Yep, that's right. All right, sevens. Got a seven here, here, and here. So the middle row is taken care of. One of these two will be a seven. One of these three will be a seven. One of these two is going to be a seven. I've got two possibilities here. Says this can't be a seven, so that is. And that just narrows this down to those two possibilities. And we've got those two there, and those two here. So on to 8s. We've got an 8 here, an 8 here. That says one of these two is going to be an 8. Along with the 3s, that means that this can't be a 1, this can't be a 1 or a 5. We've got 8, 3, 8, 3. That tidies that up a little bit. Over here, I've got 4 possible places for an 8. This 8 says these two can't be an 8, so one of these two will be, which means one of these two is going to be an 8. And down here, one of these 4 is going to be an 8. I've got 5 possibilities here. Here we've got 6 possibilities. And over here we've got 4 possibilities. Oh, nope, these two aren't going to be 8 because of these two. All right. How about here? Okay, we've got those 4 openings marked. Okay, 9s. Got a 9 here. And a 9 here. Means one of these two is going to be a 9. One of these two is going to be a 9. 4 possibilities here for a 9. Four possibilities here for a 9. 5 possibilities, nope, 6 possibilities here for a 9. All right, 4 possibilities for a 9 here. And looks like 4 possibilities for a 9 here. All right. Four, 8, 8, 3, 4, 9, 7, 1. 7, 5, 7, 8, 7, or 8, 1, or 8, 5. Okay. Let's see what happens if I put a 2 here. That makes this into a 6. I end up with 3, 9, 3, 9 there. Comes a 1. Not a 9, so 5, 2 pair there. Not a 5, not a 2. 5, 2 there. That turns into a 6. 8 here, 3 here, 2 here, 5, 2 here, 4, 8, 5, 9, and 1. Maybe we've got, oh, we're left with a hole here. All right, so instead of a 2 there, let's put a 2 here. Gives us a 9 here, 3, 6 there. 8 here, 8, 3, 2, 4 there. 1, 5, 1, 5 turns that into a 6. This becomes a 9 and a 2 here. 1, 5, 1, 5 there to mirror the 1, 5, 1, 5 down here. Here we get an 8 and a 1 with a 3 dropping in over here. 4, 9 pair here means an 8 here, and not a 4 or 9 here. 1, 5 pair with that one. And what do we get up here? Anything? Nope, nothing there, but we get this 5 here, 7, 9, 1, and 3 here. This becomes an 8 and a 5, 4 and a 7. That's going to affect a few things elsewhere. 4 and 2 here, 7 here. Up here we end up with a 9 there. 4 here, 6 and 2. 4 here, 1, 5, 1, 5, 9 here, and a hole here again. Okay, let's try this without a 2 in that bottom square. In those 2 positions, it's going to be where one of the 1, 5s is, I believe. And that could be pretty much one of any other place, but I do end up with a 2 here. So that gives me a 9 and 6 here with a 3 up here this time. All right. Gives me an 8 here. 9, 1, 9, 6, 9, 1, 6 there. 8, 2, 8, 2, this becomes a 4. 7, 8, 2, 7, 8. Nope. 7, 8, 7, 8. So not an 8, not an 8, not a 7. So that becomes an 8. This becomes a 5 and a 7 over here. Okay. Coming back to that, 9 here. This turns into a 1, 3 here. That makes this into an 8, 4, 2, and 3 this time. 6 and 4 and 7. Over here we end up with a 5 and 9. 8, because this is going to be a 2. 7 here. Gives me a 9 up here, a 1, 2 here, 6 there, 4, 8 here, 9 here, 3, 1, 5, 9, 4, 1, 5 pair here, gives me a 6, 5 dropped in here. Oops, we got a hole here. What am I missing? In the column, we've got a 1, 2, 3. That can't be a 4. All right. So I'm going to have to come up with some other way to get a 2 into this column. Probably by forcing it from someplace else. All right. We've got a 4, 9 pair. Oh, no, not a 4, 9 pair. All right. 8, 2, 8, 2 says this is going to be a 9, and this is going to be a 4. I've been missing that 8, 2 pair way too long. All right. That gets me a 9 here. 7, 4, 8, 4, 8, 3, 7113. Okay. 7578 85 5646 234253. Singleton 9 in the row. Okay. Notice that there's a singleton 3 in the row here, so that becomes a 3. That turns this into a 2. At least for now it does. Gives me a 6 and a 3 here. All right, still end up with the 8-2 pair here. This becomes an 8 now. 1 9 1 6 9 6. So that's a nice triplet. Nice triplet with the 7 5 7 8 8 5. 5 6 4 6 5 3 is not a nice triplet. And these 4 2 and 2 3 are messing that up, aren't they? All right. Anything else I can make use of? We have 4 here that's standalone. Can't be over here, so this is a 4. That makes this into a 4. One of these two become a 4. Don't know which yet, except, nope. It's going to depend upon which of these two is a 4. All right. All right, 8-2, 8-3, 2-3 mean that I can eliminate the 8 and the 2 from there. That gets me a 1-5, 1-5, and this becomes a 6. Doesn't affect this column yet, but maybe we've got something like that coming up. We'll see. 4 possibilities for a 9 there. 2 possibilities down here. Can we tidy this up some? One 5 8 2 1 5 8 2 5 8 2 1 5 1 5 8 2. Yeah. One of these 3 is going to be a 6. One of these 3 is going to be a 7. Okay, I am going to punt with this 1 5 here. Turn that into a 1, this into a 5. I end up with a 1 9 pair there. That 1 coming out of the fold means one of these two is going to be a 1. One of these two is a 1. And we got 3 possibilities at the top. 7 8 7 8 2 8 5 2 8 5 2. Okay, let's undo that then. Try this as a 5 instead. We end up with 8, 2, 1, 8, 2, 1, 8, 2. 7, 8, 7, 8, 2, 1, 8, 2. End up with a 1 here, 9, 5 here, 9 here, 1, 5, 1, 5. So that's a 2 and a 9 here. 6 here, 1, 8, 4 pairs. 7, 4, 7, 8, 2, 8, 2. I'm going to go with a 5 here. This will break a couple of things open, but may end up leaving a hole. We'll see. Three, 8 here, 1, 2 pair there. 8 there, 2, 6, 9 leaves a 7 here. 1 and 2 here gives me a 1 and a 2 here. 5, 1, 4, and 8. And then we get an 8 down here to solve the puzzle. Wow, 43 minutes and 19 seconds to solve that one. That's a lot longer than I like, but we end up with these things from time to time. It means we've already run an hour. So in just a moment, I will get my numbers here. 43:19 into where I'm going to chat. Not chat. Where I'm going to post the results. And if an ad were to show up right now, it probably would not affect too many people. All right, playing again. And now we go down to 498. One, 3, 6, 9, 1, 3, 5, 4. In case you're noting, I've got a horizontally symmetric puzzle. Unfortunately, that doesn't really help me with the content of what's going to be on or in each line at the moment, but we got to start somewhere. At least that's kind of how they like to play this. All right, let's see if we can do this one a little faster. First of all, is it a valid puzzle? It is. Give yourself a chance to grab a screenshot, see if you can solve the puzzle yourself. It looks like I've got a couple of easy picks right off the bat, but some also that are going to take some time. All right, 17, 18, 19. All right, 20 seconds. So I'm going to start filling in what I can see. That's going to be a 1. One of these two will be a 1. One of these two will be a 1. And this is going to be a 1. That also leaves, this is a 1. And so now we move on to 2s. We got a 2 here. One of these 3 will be a 2. One of these 2 will be a 2. Over here, I've got 4 possibilities. 4 possibilities up here. And a 2 going in here. That means I've now got 2 possibilities for a 2 here. And that looks to be all I can... Oh, 3 possibilities here. Okay. All I can do at this point, I don't fill in places at this stage where I've got more than 2 possibilities going in. 3s. None of these are going to be... I got a 3 going here. So I've got 5 possibilities for 3 there, 4 possibilities down here. That 3 says one of these 5, one of these 3. Likewise, this 3 says one of these 5, one of these 4. And here we've got 4 possibilities. All right, that's it for 3s. Let's look at 4s. We've got a 4 here and a 4 up here. So one of these 2 is going to be a 4. I've got 4 possibilities here and here. 2 possibilities here. 3 possibilities here. To go with the 3 possibilities here and the 5 possibilities here. However, this can't be a 4, and this can't be a 4 because of that 4 and this 4. We have to have a 4 in the row, so this is a 4. That means that we're now down to 2 possibilities for a 4 here and 2 possibilities for a 4 here, which is a much nicer place to be with regard to 4s than we were. Still have 4 possibilities here and here, but we'll maybe tidy that up a little bit in a bit. All right, 5. We got a 5 here and a 5 here. That means one of these 2 is going to be a 5. One of these 2 is going to be a 5 because of the combination of this 5, and this 5. I've got 4 possibilities here so far. 3 possibilities for a 5 here. 3 possibilities for a 5 here. 3 possibilities for a 5 here. Except that this won't be a possible 5, so really we've got 2 possibilities for a 5 here. All right, I think that's all I can really say at this point about that. So let's move on to 6s, where I've got 2 possibilities for a 6 here because of this 6 and this 6. Up here, this 6 says none of these 3 can be a 6, so one of these 2 is a 6, and that means one of these 2 is a 6. This 6 are kind of saying 4 possibilities here, along with 2 possibilities here. This 6 blocks out this one. Actually, both of these. This 6 blocks out these 2. The fact I have to have a 6 in here blocks out these 2. All right. 7s. We've got a pair of 7s already in the middle column. That means one of these 2 is going to be a 7. Here I've got 3 possibilities for a 7, 2 possibilities for a 7 here. And let's see, 4 possibilities here, 5 possibilities here. We got those 2 already tagged. Everything's available here, 6 possibilities. 3 here, 4 here. All right. How about 8s? I got 8 here and 8 here. Nothing else in this, or nothing in this column. So all 3 of these can potentially be an 8. That doesn't work well for us at this point, but let's see what we can do. This can't be an 8. So one of these 3 is going to be an 8. And I've got 3 possibilities up here as well. 4 possibilities here. All of these can be 8s. All 3 of these, all 6 of these as well. All right, on to 9s. Got a 9 here. One of these 2 is going to be a 9. We're going to make use of that in just a moment here. Got 2 possibilities for a 9 here. I end up with 2 possibilities for a 9 here. 2 possibilities for a 9 here that says this can't be a 9 and forces this to be a 9. Down here, we got those 2. End up with these 4 possibilities because this one can't be a 9 because of this 9. And obviously these 2 can't because that's one. Down here, so far it looks like I've got 4 possibilities and 3 possibilities here. That means one of these 3 is going to be a 9, and I've already marked this one. So that's a 9. This is not. And I said I was going to make use of something already, didn't I? We got a 1, 2s and 9s here. So 3s can go here along with 5s. And that means 3s and 5s can't be anywhere else in this column. We got a 3 here. So one of these 2 is going to become a 3. What about a 5? I've got 3 possible places. This can't be a 5, so 2 possible places to be a 5. That can't be a 5, so this becomes a 5. That means one of these, or that this is going to become a 5. I believe, yes it does. That makes this into a 3, this into a 6, this into a 4, and we end up with an 8 here. Up here we've now got 1. Where can we put a 2? Looks like we can put a 2 here. So 1, 2, 3. 4 can't go here. So it's going to be one of these 2. Can't be here. So this is a 4. This becomes a 7. And this becomes our 8. All right. That helped a chunk. It doesn't solve everything yet, but we'll get there. All right, 2s. We now have 4 possibilities for a 2 here. Oh, wait. We took out a possibility of a 2 here, so that's a 2, makes this into a 6. That means one of these 2 is a 2 now. We got a 1, 2, 3, 4s, 5, 6. Can't be a 7 here. Oh, we can mark possible 7s and 8s here, except that this can't be an 8, so this is an 8 and a 7 here. This becomes an 8 as a result, so we get a 6 there. And this is a 6 here, 9 2s. But what am I missing in this one? Looks like I'm missing 7s. 3 possible 7s that can go in there. And I get a freebie here. This one's going to be a 7 because, no. One of these 2 is going to be a 7. That means this is going to be a 7. And now I've got 2 possibilities for a 7 here. Single possibility of a 5 there. So now it's a 7-4 pair. All right. 4 here means one of these 4 will be a 4. Let's see if we can come back to that. Let's see. Pair of 6s here left me a 5 here. I got a 1, 2. Neither of these can be a 3. I've got 2 possibilities, a 3 here or 3 here. pair of 4s, no, 4 here, 5, pair of 6s, 7s, can be any of these 3. Nope, can't be this one. So I've got 2 possibilities for a 7. And this can't be an 8. So I end up with 4 possibilities of an 8 here, 2 possibilities of an 8 up here. Over here, I've got a singleton for an 8, so one of these 2 will be an 8. And then we've got a 9 going in somewhere. So far, it looks like I've got 4 possibilities of a 9 here. And because of this 9 here, and nothing available here, one of these 2 is a 9. That means that one of these 2 is a 9 as well. Go with the 5s. So we might be able to do something more here. Actually, we can, because we know that we've got to end up with a 3 in this row. So that's a 3. Still have 4 possibilities of 4 here, but maybe we can tidy that up some. Well, we got, what are we missing here? 3s. So I can't have a 3 here. This says this can't be a 3. We got a 3 here already. That means this is a 3. 4 here, no, 4 here, 9, 7 there. And that makes this into a 7, which I was hoping for earlier. Did have that 7 locked in. That makes this into a 7, which means this is a 7, this is a 4. That 4, actually that 4 doesn't help me much here, but I do get a 3 here as a result, and an 8 here. We got 6s here. What goes with the 6s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Looks like 9s go with the 6s. Along with the 9s with the 2s up here. So now we got a 1 and an 8. Singleton place for an 8, so that means this is a 1 now. And over here we get a 1 as a result. Okay, we've got 2 places to put in 2 more digits. 1, 2, 3. So one of these 2 is going to be a 4. It's going to be this one. We've got the 5s here. That means this is going to be a 6. That means this will be a 6, so a 9, 6 here, 9, 2 here. And that couldn't have been a 2 in the first place because of this 2. Boy, some of these I'm really botching some of this stuff on, aren't I? All right. So, get a 2 here, 2 here. One of these 2 is going to be a 2. The other one here is going to be, let's see, a 1, 3. Looks like it's going to be a 4. We can't be a 4 there, so that's a 4. That's a 2. This becomes a 9. This becomes a 2. This becomes a 9. This becomes a 5. 3 and 5 here. And I think that leaves me with a 3 here. Is that right? It is. 14 minutes, 32 seconds for this last one, so under a quarter of an hour. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by, saying hello, chatting with me, or not. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great day, and we will talk with you again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.